YouTube is such a shitty thing, to be honest. Okay, now it works. I will just, quickly share it in the chat, just in case. So, Rehab room comments on Zohran, sorry, Mamdani. What do you think he would say? No comments so far, that's fine. That is okay. Let's watch our guy then. So my prediction is that, he will say that, Mamdani was in cell until he polycoped, then found a baker to marry, according to Rehab. Why did you watch it beforehand? It's gonna be about him coping, of course. I think, oh my god, I almost poured my milkshake into my microphone. I think he's gonna say that caring about others, like, he's not gonna register this even as a thing that, can happen. I think he never thinks about caring about other people, and he doesn't care about it. So he will think that all of it was just to cope from loneliness, like it was, with Healthy Gamer. Why do I not see comments in the chat? So, okay, all done. I have a sewing machine near my knee. By the way, I'm subscribed to Rehab Room.
Kind of journey, not really journey,
So the other day.
So, Ayuna, we might need your help for a short time. What about you? No, that's not the one. I guess I don't think there would be something terrible. There wasn't anything, right? There couldn't be. Anyway, time to watch You see it, right? I don't see. Okay, it's all fine. So, let's do it.
Couldn't remember about Mamdani's old college
It doesn't show you the video, does it? It does now. Okay.
articles to my attention. And once you read,
Oops, sorry, it wasn't a tweet but a column where he was a contributor for his college newspaper in 2012. If he struggled in the predating up era despite his slightly above average looks, I am being a tad generous. Then I can't imagine what life must have been like after 2016 or so.
then it becomes crystal clear as to what set him on this path of identity politics career. Everything just makes perfect sense in the light of this. Allow me to quote him directly. This is what he wrote in his college newspaper. I grow a beard only to be called a terrorist. I pronounce the H in my name only to hear muffled laughs. Clothing becomes exotic once it clads my body. Cotton shorts are called dashikis and sandals ethnic. While I am now comfortable in my own skin, I can remember wishing for whiteness my first year when I thought certain type of girls were impossible to talk to due to my skin being more kiwi than peach. Months later, I remember thinking that attraction might only be possible when a girl had a thing for brown guy.
I think we should notice how nicely he writes.
Honestly, this makes perfect sense. Rejections he got from so-called certain type of girls, which we all know means white chicks he was truly attracted to growing up. Before the defense mechanisms of adaptation and sublimation kicked in. Rejections he
What did you take away from what he said in this rather short piece? Rum. Because, what I heard was so what has happened in the meantime? We read a column from Mamdani where he describes how people perceived him due to his ethnicity. Beard, terrorist. Age, they laugh at. Clothes are exotic. He remembered he wanted to be white because he thought certain types of girls were impossible to talk to due to my skin being more kiwi than peach. Months later, I remember thinking that attraction might only be possible when a girl had a thing for brown guys. What do you see here? What I see is he describes how racism affected him. Makes sense, right? He doesn't only talk about women and being rejected by women. This wasn't the only thing that he was affected by. It was being the other, the out group, the outcast. I relate to his feeling of being alienated among predominantly white groups, but I wonder how connected Zohran was to his own ethnic community growing up, or if he was whitewashed and a fish out of water. I relate to the latter. I remember learning about people calling whitewashed people of color coconuts and Oreos. It was recently. I wonder if Rehab will show us more, or if he will only talk based on this piece. What are your guesses? Will he provide more ground for his arguments and his think piece, or will we stop here? Place your bets. This stream is sponsored by Polymarket now. What else is there? I hope there are no, artificial intelligence. Okay, you don't want to talk to me. Oh, the only Rehab video I've seen was the last one we watched, so I don't know. Sir, even Rami doesn't say anything. Okay, you don't like interactive teaching, I see.
Certain type of growth, which we all know means what? Before the defense mechanisms of adaptation and sublimation kicked in. Rejections he got growing up broke his mind.
Okay, sublimation is a fascinating and complex psychological concept that deals with the transformation of socially unacceptable impulses or desires into socially acceptable and productive outlets. It's a defense mechanism identified by Sigmund Freud, the father of psychoanalysis, and it played a significant role in understanding human behavior, creativity, and emotional regulation. So, sublimation is a good thing because it helps you take your negative feelings and express them, which is very important to express our feelings. So it's to express them in a socially acceptable, positive way, like, doing sports, making art, and maybe.
And in turn, he just channeled his dating life.
Now, maybe dating problems. This is Rehab's argument. I do not agree with it.
Frustrations into politics. That is what he did. Trying to make up for his.
So, he took one sentence in a column that talks about a wide range of problems that ethnic minorities face, that Arab people face, and he's like, it's all about the women. Like, there's nothing else really to think about it. Which is so impressive. What do you think?
Non-existent dating life by throwing himself into identity politics. Trying to make a difference, right? I mean,
Out of one sentence,
in his defense, at least he didn't open a YouTube channel with 1500 videos in it.
India basically.
France.
India as well.
India as well.
Look, you've got the most experience here for some reason.
I would say we have an upper hand when it comes to stability, job, and security. In terms of that, because we coming from India, we are little bit. I mean, I'm not saying the Germans are bad, but we have been selected here to do something very specific niche work in IT, engineering, or blah blah, and then that can work in your favor. Because girls ultimately need that stability in their life.
So guys, he tried to talk to those liberal college chicks, and they shut that shit down quick. Was like, oh, I got rejected by women I am attracted to due to my background, and now I'm gonna make a difference politically. Sublimation 101. Literal sublimation 101. You channel your...
This is insane. Like, he cannot comprehend neither worrying about anything else besides dating life, nor having actual principles that are not based on getting laid.
your sexual frustrations into something more productive, right? More sophisticated, more acceptable, socially acceptable. And you don't even realize that you are doing this. I mean, guys, if you ask them this, if you even suggested the idea, he would laugh at it. He would give you that smug, condescending laugh. Oh, that is such a childish thing to say. But the primary factor, primary driving factor, was his rejections.
He said it based on one sentence. The whole idea behind a politician fighting for the rights of people that he supposedly empathizes with is not getting pussy. And you know, they say human civilization is based on men doing great things as a means of showing off to potential mates. Who says that? Do women not do great things? Do you think the only thing on anyone's mind is getting laid? You're doing the same thing he does, the same thing all the pills do. Life is so much more than dating, getting relationships. You know, Van Gogh definitely was not doing it for attention of women or men or anyone. He was expressing himself because that's who he is. Oh, right off the bat, I think Rehab room is reaching insane. Zohran got into politics as a cop, yeah. He's not even reaching, like, this is what he actually thinks. The world revolves around getting a partner. If you don't get a partner, you're a failure. If you succeed, you might also be a failure, but just coping well, and actually your partner doesn't like you.
The rejections he got from what he calls certain type of women. Because guys, notice, like,
oh, what is this about? Why is there food fetish content?
It wasn't getting called terrorist that made him wish he was white. It wasn't.
Really? It wasn't getting terrorist that made him wish he was white. He's being perceived as a threat? Is Adam dating that? Check. What is it about? Who are these people? Anyway, Rehab room is so fixated. I mean, at this point, one might suspect he has obsessive compulsive disorder.
People laughing at his pronunciation. It wasn't people mocking his clothing.
Right, because people laughing at your pronunciation, at the way you express yourself, how you walk, how you look like. This doesn't influence a person, right? None of this matters.
Wasn't, whatever, people getting his name wrong. But it was getting rejected by white chicks. That made him.
The girl looks like a chick who got popular on YouTube lately for being performatively based and talking about how she loves autistic men and feels bad for us despite making femcel videos. As I'm doing my studies in psychology, so I started in the meantime reading a book called Existential Psychotherapy, and there, it explains the idea of dynamic therapy. This is just an introduction of it. I just don't have enough background to refer to anything else about it, but it talks about how there's a dynamic view of a person that Freud, flagshipped. Rehab room running out of ideas. What the fuck? I mean, he only does basically react content. Not that I can, throw stones from a glass house. But going back to what I was talking about, it's that, oh my god, it is that yeah, humans have this dynamic thing inside themselves when there are a million parts of them that collide and interact, and they are often one part will be in conflict with another. So, when you think people act in a illogical way, they might just be complicated human beings that are affected by a million things. Well, that's why I wonder about Zohran's background and ethnic connection. Did he join politics for breaking norms of white patriarchal identity for some Machiavellian reason, as Rehab insinuates? He was pretty chummy with Trump when they met, so I'm not sure at the moment. It's hard for me to know his dating history and struggles based on one column. Yeah, because you're not Rehab and you don't have supernatural abilities like he does. He can read anyone's mind, like he has a cerebro. I wonder if Zohran knows what incels are and his take on it. I bet he knows. He's grounded. So, did he join politics for breaking norms of white patriarchal identity? I would say, I think he breaking the norms would be a result. Joining politics would be a result of him having principles that he passionately believes in. Like, I'm here also because I have principles that I passionately believe in. And even Rehab Room is here because he has some principles, allegedly, that he believes in. You know, the thing is, I have tried to give Rehab some respect because I know a lot of incels respect him. But it's very hard because he is so due. It is beyond my ability not to mock him for his reductive ideas. Like, he's one-dimensional. He was pretty... Mamdani was pretty charming with Trump when they met. Yeah, Trump's a president, and Trump is also incredibly stupid. So, for Zohran, he might annoy the president, who is probably demented and who can actually remove him from his position because Trump does not obey the law. Or he might try to influence Trump. Trump is a fellow New Yorkers. Of course, they would have something to talk about. I want to make a terrible joke. So, this is a joke I make because I learned from, I think, DeMarco Ceres's stand-up that there are a lot of Jews. We can say Jews, right? So there are a lot of Jews in New York. You know, when you like make this giant caveat so people don't think you're anti-Semitic by any chance, you can't make the joke anymore. Sorry. You wouldn't take me from anti-Semite, right? Okay, let's keep on watching.
Wish he was white. What does that tell you? You gotta pay attention.
Yeah, Solo also repeated that he said white women. So Zohran Zohran did not say that it was white women that rejected him. He said certain type of women. Do you think black or Latino women never rejected him. Like certain types of people who reject others for their ethnicity, like we usually call them racists, you know.
Into the details, bro. Because people are not gonna tell you what really happened. You always gotta pay attention to what happened and not what people think happened to them. But the reality is, growing up high school and college, the first years of college, set everything in motion. Everything in motion. Not being able to get girls he was attracted to lit a fire under his ass. And then he simply channeled that energy into politics. That's what.
Rehab is basically writing a fanfiction about Zohran Mamdani here.
What it was. He was likely seeing his friends, other dudes at his college with same.
He has a lot of pictures of Mamdani. Do you have something to tell us? Why does he have so many pictures?
Same height, with similar facial attractiveness. But they were dating white chicks he would have liked to date himself. If only.
Wait, so he just hates being white? What do you mean hates being white? Zohran? No. He said that he used to wish he was white. This so is the point Rehab is making. No, the point Rehab is making is that the reason Zohran got into the politics is because he couldn't get laid. Why do you think he has so many pictures of Zohran? I mean, Rehab did say that Zohran is attractive. So maybe he is attracted to Zohran, or maybe he subconsciously thinks he was Zohran. Like a guy who is, I guess, rather tall, who, according to Rehab, by the way, is attractive, and who got very successful. Yeah, Rehabers from Turkey, living in Germany. I think that Rehab Room, as a fellow brown guy minority in a majority white country, thinks he can relate to Zohran. The problem with Rehab Room isn't that he can or can't relate to Zohran. The problem is that Rehab is railroaded. He has tunnel vision. Zohran is not attractive. See, you're not attracted to him. Rehab thinks he's attractive. It's like almost like we have preferences in how people look. I mean, this picture is not the best, but I think I saw similar to Zohran guys in my life, and I would, I don't know, find them interesting if we matched in terms of personality. Anyway, it's very unimportant what I would think, but I don't think Zohran is unattractive, and especially the way he looks now.
We knew more, guys. If only we knew more. What kind of brutal stuff people.
Here I think he's attractive.
That's her. He probably asked out some chicks. Got told, "Oh, Zohran, baby, I am not ready for a relationship right now. I am a mess right now."
Why? Why does he have this AI generated comic of Zohran not getting a white girl. This is ridiculous. Whatever should I be doing? Is that Mamdani becoming black-pilled? I think it's him starting to cope. You either become Mamdani, sorry, or die Rehab room.
Bunch of bullshit he got. Only to see that very same chick with another dude.
I remind you, Mamdani never said it was about white women. He said certain types of women, and it's Rehab projecting desire for a white woman. Meanwhile, in the context, Mamdani was writing this column in, it very much suggests specifically racist women. You know, women who at least do not like Arab men. And, like, let's be honest, post 9/11, Arab men aren't really loved worldwide.
A week later, a couple of days later. Just imagine what he went through. I mean, he probably did have some sort of leading, some opportunities here and there, targeting the international students.
Jester herself is a white woman, mortal enemy of Rehab room. I'm Slavic. Why does he have a whole AI generated noir comic of Zohran Mamdani? This is I mean, initially it was a very playful and serious joke about Rehab being into the crowd. Now it might not be a joke anymore. Like, we move to the end of the video, suddenly it's an AI generated meeting of Zohran and Rehab, and the screen goes dark and we know they're kissing. Am I a white woman? Yeah. I am Slavic.
Or some white. Probably got some sort of stuff which stopped him from opening a YouTube channel. But he still wasn't able to attract kind of chick, certain kind of woman he was attracted to. And that flipped the switch on him. He channeled that frustration.
That flipped the switch in him. Wow. I had to move the AI comic through the filter myself, because this is exactly what I'm thinking about. No offense, but a lot of incels make these content, be it a comic or posts describing how, like, a nice guy is by himself while his crush is getting pounded by a Chad.
We should have gone down this dark path of identity politics. It is just a shallow way to look at things. Guys,
You see this with gym bros a lot. What do you mean?
we are still primal mammals. No matter how much we try to pretend that we are not. No matter
I want to punch Rehab room.
how much we want to believe like we are so sophisticated and intellectual. Humans are simple.
No, you are simple. Do not drag others with yourself into this terrible hole in the ground. They're always like, my crush is with Chad while I'm doing bench presses. It's not a great feeling seeing your crush talking to a guy who is better than you in every metric. Guys, I am, you could say, an ex-cock. Because my first love, I guess I could say my only love, just don't have crush, simple, yeah, I agree. I don't have crushes, though sometimes I miss the feeling. Anyway, I think I've told you already. So I was into a guy who was into my best friend, and we had spent a lot of time together too, because my best friend couldn't decide if she wants or doesn't want that guy, and I'm like, I'm fine being friends. I will be like, my heart will be breaking over it, but it's fine. Like, I mean, this was the time when I ended up realizing that bro lived in the YA fantasy love triangle. More than one. Getting cocked and left on red by incels. Absolutely brutal. Yeah. I mean, I got him in the end. I was the one to break up with him. I should tell you some stories about my personal life, because with this guy, the story started when I was 6 and he was 7 actually. I didn't know this until we started dating, but the first summer camp I went to, he was also there, and apparently he had a huge crush on me. Jester is the protagonist. I can be. I have no choice but to be a protagonist in my own life. Anyway, so apparently he had a crush on me. I didn't even remember he existed. All I remember is a girl with long red hair dancing striptease to God, I forgot the song. I always associated it with striptease, strip dance. And there were also 2 dog houses that had plaques for the names of the hosts of reality TV dating shows. So one was Ksenia Sobchak, the other was Ksyusha Borodina, the longest reality dating show, Dom 2, House 2. Yeah, so anyway, this is what I remember. And also my parents bringing me Nesquik ice cream and it from the city, and it all got melted, but I was still somewhat happy. Lore drop, a lot of lore. Anyway, should we continue, or do you want me to tell you a bit more about my personal life? Oh, right. What I wanted to say is that I felt so extremely lonely for many years. And like, imagine, I was in love with that guy for 10 years. Yeah, so I was in love with that guy for 10 years. And for most of them, I was opinion over him, and everyone knew I had a crush on him because I am not subtle at all. So yeah, at some point I realized that, like, the problem isn't that the guy I have a crush on with someone else. Did he know about it? Yeah, he did. Not long before... Oh, I should finish my sentence. Anyway, I just realized that the problem isn't that he doesn't like me bad. The problem was that I'm extremely lonely in general. I am very isolated. I don't talk to people. I would start crying when people message me sometimes, like classmates. It was terrible. I was suicidal for a long time. Yeah, true, Yarner, that's right. Anyway. Yeah, did he know about it? Yeah, so we started dating when I was university. We finished dating when I was also in university, but so I was in Moscow studying, and we had, I think, a video call, and he was like, I feel like no one likes me, and I'm like, some people like me. What are you talking about? But like, he knew it. He just didn't want to talk about my obvious crush on him. Like, this was very obvious, and we did talk about it later. But yeah, any questions about my love triangles? I had a bisexual one. My romantic life is messy. You were at AMT of Moscow? AMT, what is that? A university? No. Look, Nima. Did you feel like you got used? When? Please indulge us with your bisexual triangles. I mean, only one bisexual triangle. That's a long story. We should finish the video first. Then I will tell you. Like, looking back at my dating life, it's quite insane. Better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. I don't regret my dating life, but I did have like rather traumatic dreams for years after breaking up with that guy. I've got a huge mosquito. Bro definitely regrets something. Honestly, no, I don't think so. I mean, I felt guilt that I took my time working on with therapy. I do have a lot to rework in therapy still, like my isolation and shame and stuff. I'm shameless in front of you. I am not shameless in front of my family. Many more questions. Like, Vinny, you asked, did you feel like you got used? At what point? By whom? While we're waiting for Winnie, about it's better to have loved and lost than never to have loved at all. So one thing I read recently was love given is never lost. We lost Winnie. I have never technically dated them, but I think that Zohran Ghost Saga left me low-key traumatized. You will have to tell it sometimes. He talked with you a lot, right? It made you feel invisible if he didn't acknowledge your feelings. No, it was fine. I mean, I knew he wasn't into me. I still enjoyed spending time with him. Maybe a lot of this enjoyment was led by my crush on him. But like, the joy is still joy. And he was funny to me at that season of my life. 1 second. He was definitely smart. And I loved smart people. He was, and probably still is, a good artist. Even despite the terrible note our relationship ended on, I can't remove the positive feelings I have of him. I regret not leaving him earlier, I guess. But this is because I had the choice between, well, during COVID, between my mother's home and his rented flat. Like, of course I would try to... The problem isn't that, like, his rented flat, that was, by the way, he was renting with his friends. So, it's not like I was using him for space. The thing is that I felt safer with him than I felt with my mother. So yeah, you can keep sending your questions. I am too open of a book, but let's continue.
Mental scars and impulses are still what drive us.
What did your parents teach you about love?
I think to give all of yourself to it. I think
What? Like, Rehab has such extremely low emotional intelligence. He just cannot comprehend people being different. He's so politician. Yeah, of course he has to be, but he is much more authentic, I think, than the other people.
I felt just as in love when I first met my wife, and I had to kind of just hold it in for a little bit because I think I was in love from the moment I saw her photo.
Stop.
Question: when will you be boxing a Rehab room pay-per-view? Tell him, there are games like two-player games where you can match with them, but it's like very very simple games, like playing beach volleyball. Rehab has emotional intelligence only. Okay, that's good.
I screenshotted her Hinge profile.
And guys, you can literally prove what I said to be true when you watch this interview.
Oh.
Just the fact that he's saying all this stuff. Well, the moment I saw a picture of her, I knew she was my soulmate. Like,
And to be like, most compatible, we think you two should meet, and it's just the ugliest fucking man you've seen, who's also 5'4" and conservative. What is his point? What is his proof?
just this stuff alone. He's
Am I missing something? Is it from her? It is not from her, and also it says conservative, so it doesn't make the same point as his.
reaction to getting a match looking like her should give you a major insight into the dating options you realistically had at the time.
Like, the guy was happy too much with the woman that became his wife, and Rehab is here saying like, so he matched with this woman and he was happy about it. Imagine how brutal dating is.
Because guys, you don't celebrate a match jumping up and down unless you are going through the ringer. He simply adapted. Adapted is
He settled for her. You don't celebrate much. He didn't celebrate much. He said he screenshotted it because maybe this woman have shown that she is exactly what he likes, or maybe even this is not the case because this is an interview. It's not like he's going to tell like, yeah, initially I didn't really like her, but like over time, but initially no.
conscious preferences after rejections from certain type of girls broke his mind. He reacted to that emotional trauma by sublimation and adaptation.
Before she even matched back.
Before she even matched back, by the
Wait,
way.
you're like, no, this is my wife. Leave that in the photos. Okay, so let's go back to that moment. You're on Hinge, you see her profile.
Like, he says, Zohran was jumping to a match, and right after that, Zohran says, even before we matched.
I'm assuming you swiped first.
Absolutely. I am assuming you swiped first. You can safely assume that about pretty much every single woman he swiped on. Trust and believe, you can safely assume that. And guys, remember, this is a case of looks hypergamy. I mean,
This is a case of looks hypergamy, he says.
he's no Chad by any means, by any stretch of the imagination. Don't get it twisted, but he still doesn't have the features that she has.
Everybody wants a man.
Like, Rehab room is here saying like, yes, Zohran is not the epitome of male beauty, because the epitome of male beauty is shown in PCL whatever images and clavicular if he was blonde. But she doesn't look good, he says, and I think she looks great. She has striking features. His face looks like very soft. I think they both are quite attractive. Epitome of male beauty is obviously a thin boy. I mean, depends on the thin boy. There are different ones.
To get it twisted, but he still doesn't have the features that she has.
Everybody wants a man like Zohran. But need I remind you that Rama Dilaji swiped right on a humanities major, under 6 feet tall, making low six figures. The question becomes, is there a Rama within us? Because you don't get the finished product without investing early. So that guy that doesn't meet your criteria, give him a chance. He might just change the world.
And he wrote that article, it was 20.
So he here agrees with a woman. He can do that. I didn't know. In 2020, Mamdani had already won the elections to be the representative of the 36th district. 100% brought up the fact that he was the elected representative of the district, New York, and either his bio or profile pic, probably both. She swiped right on the King of Queens, not a humanitarian major. I mean, again, 100% this is how I imagine it.
So his first year was probably like 2011. This is before the Tinder era. If he was struggling like that, to the point of raging in his college newspaper,
Raging for him is saying, like, I experienced racism, I experienced discrimination against Arabs, and one sentence about it including dating life, because it does, of course. And he calls it raging. Shall we, like, be reminded what raging is in his words? I just want to say, this is, according to Rehab Room, how Zohran Mamdani rages about dating. I grow a beard only to be called a terrorist. I pronounce the H in my name only to hear muffled laughs. Clothing becomes exotic once it clothes my body. Cotton shirts are called dashikis and sandals ethnic. Though I am now comfortable in my own skin, I can remember wishing for whiteness my first year, when I thought certain types of girls were impossible to talk to due to my skin being more kiwi than peach. Months later, I remember thinking that attraction might only be possible when a girl had a thing for brown eye guys. Okay, it's 2 sentences, my bad. Yeah. Is this rage? Is impossible to talk due to my skin being more kiwi than peach. Rage. Does it give off rage more than whatever Rehab room is saying?
Delete that, right? The
Decide it is.
jump up. I understand it. Cause like, it is gonna break here. You either jump up there or open a YouTube break. In it. Like in 2020, when he was on page, trying to get something. In it. That is why he jumped in the air from happiness when she matched with him. And honestly, guys, I get it. I understand it. Cause like, it's
Not that, like, Mamdani's profession matters, right? Like, of course, she wanted him because he was a promising politician, not because there was something attractive in him. But the fact that she is an artist means nothing. I also can't help but appreciate how it's not even like Wikipedia, it's obviously an AI summary he's quoting here.
gonna break here. You either jump up there or open a YouTube.
The slogan for Hinge is the app.
It's not like he picked her off the street and she agreed. She is also a woman with wants, wishes, aspirations. Politicians are the real chats. Yeah, look at how attractive Trump is. I say, crying tears because there's a pistol to my head.
Yes.
You're saying it's love at first sight. Did you delete it the day that you guys met for the first time? Like, at what point were you like, oh wait, actually, all jokes aside, this is the love of my life. I don't want to be on this app anymore.
Like we talked about that after a few dates, and that's when I made that decision as well.
This is gonna be a pretty easy decision on its end. If you are Mamdani, of course you are gonna want to delete the app as soon as possible.
I didn't realize Slavic girls are so attracted to Donald Trump. I mean, I would be very attracted if I just had some sort of cold weapon in my arm. Like, sure. Maybe. Is Melania Trump Slavic? It's hard for married politicians to get votes. There must be something. You are onto something. Interesting.
The nightmare is over, right? I bet it was him that tried to convince her to delete the app. Guys, this is my personal guarantee. It was him who suggested the idea that they should delete it immediately.
You see what I'm talking about? When I always dunk on Rehab room, he has one singular thought that he spreads over everything, and he says it with such convenience. He does not have any proofs. He does not have any arguments, any facts. All he has is confidence of an average man. All he has is confidence, bitterness, and one singular point. Same with religious leaders in certain Christian denominations, hence why in mega churches you always see them being led by a couple. Justin? Mega church is such a wild word to me.
It's a very rare thing because I'm very much a romantic, so I fantasize about things that are like weeks and months and years away and will likely never happen. And then when you meet the love of your life, to actually be living what felt like a fantasy when you first saw their face.
Guys, the lack of action is gonna get man feeling a certain way. It is gonna make you do things that you never thought was possible. Boom, bro. I don't understand. They just don't get it. I know normies are gonna dismiss this video. Oh yeah, because it's just a shallow way to look at things. People are
And dismissing videos, this is shallow ways to look at things. But it is shallow, it is pointless. I would show you the Greek Orthodox Church that Stalin's American great daughter was baptized in, but I would be doxing myself. You can show it privately. I would hope you don't think I would be posting myself. Is this a racist dog whistle?
deeper than that. Bro, we would like to think we are deeper than that. We are fucking mad. It is a very profound, more
We are not deeper than wanting to get laid. I'm from a totalitarian country now. I have seen people, including women, embrace getting prison sentence. One included 20 years. A woman got 20 years prison sentence for helping Ukrainian refugees legally in Russia. Ukrainian refugees in Russia. Was it not that deep? Was it for mating? Am I missing something? What about, all the people who burned themselves, who committed suicide as a political protest through burning themselves? Like, his view can only exist if you are either uneducated or just dismiss half of the reality. Death drive. Wait, but we can only be driven by mating. I could not resist the Ukrainian chants. Well, so the first one I can remember about was the Russian journalist. I think her surname was Slavina. She burned herself in public. People tried to, put out the fire. She fought them off so she could burn by herself. Like, she didn't let people save her. Imagine dying from fire. The dedication you need to have. It cannot be just death drive, because this is such a painful, slow, terrible way to go out. There are so many more simpler, easier ways to do this if this is what you want. This was not what she was doing. And I'm talking about women, but of course we have men too. Like, I think it's called the Spring Revolution. Yeah. When a young student, 20 years old, I think it was Czechoslovakia, Czechoslovakia back then, and he protested by lighting himself on fire. Was this also a mating call? Or maybe humans are, after all, a little bit more complicated. Like, he is also more complicated than this. He just won't say it, because this will be against his point.
motivator. People want to make it look more sophisticated, but that is literally the meaning of life on a biological level. You know that famous saying, everything in the world is about sex, except
this is the meaning of life, for biologically speaking. Like, I mean, yeah, but are we driven by Please comment your personal thoughts on the role of Vladimir Putin in incel theory. Yeah, why not? Why not? You see, the human rights and obviously women's rights in Russia are way behind everything else. So it can be feminism that leads women to have, higher standards and whatnot that incels say. Yet, what we get is a lot of, very vile incel sexual instinct is argued thing in biology as far as I know. I can't even talk about instincts. I'm mostly clearly some too, but it's an interesting thought. I'm child free. So many people are child free. For so many people, it is one of the most important things in dating. Like, if a person who wants children meets a person who does not, they will separate. They will not stay together. So either biological drive to have children or biological drive to have a mate will not change their decisions. I don't know how he's capable of being this, well, let's use his word, this shallow, like this laser focused on something he can't get. My theory for the most desperate incels, like him, like sometimes we get to see on debate incels, is that they are obviously not happy with their life, but they decide to put all of their unhappiness into one basket, like, and put this basket away, far away. Like, I would be happy if I had a partner, but I cannot have a partner, so I can't be happy. So I don't need to do anything because I will never reach happiness. I put it away so that I can get it. Like, it's their decision to put the meaning of life onto dating. On a serious note, a good example from ancient history of real empathy is Shanidar. He was an early human who survived the Middle Age with serious... Oh, I know who you're talking about, yes. One of my favorite articles that I will never forget is the history of compassion. What, something like something 40,000-year-old bonds teaches. And yes, there was a few examples of people, prehistoric people who would not continue living or would not get their injuries healed if they weren't helped by their communities. That means that for people, community is more important than productivity, let's say. It's also, so there was Shanidar 1. Yes, it may have been the same article. Shanidar 1, I think, is the one that died on a mountain when people were moving, through the snow. He had a leg injury that got healed. I don't know, maybe he was just a really influential person in his community. Okay, I think we will pull up the article. What ancient bones teach about compassion? I do not have ancient bones that tell the story of compassion. I hope I will be able to read it. Yes, my beloved. Almost all the other skeletons on the Magbai side, south of Hanoi, Vietnam, are straight, but the man now called Burial 9 was later curled in a fetal position that suggests lifelong paralysis. Well, it is. Shall we read it? Or shall we finish? There was just that, one of them, the one that with injured leg, that was mentioned in the chat, was an older man, a middle-aged man, so he might have had. But the other one was a person who was here, Shanidar 1, with one arm amputated, loss of vision in one eye, and other injuries. Another is Windover boy from about 7,500 years ago, found in Florida, who had a severe congenital spinal malfunction known as spina bifida and lived to around age 15. So how influential was he? And they concluded that contrary to popular stereotypes of prehistoric people, under some conditions, life 5,500 years ago included an ability and willingness to help and sustain the chronically ill and handicapped. In another well-known case, a skeleton of a teenage boy from Italy 2, found at a site in Italy in dating to 10,000 years ago, shown a form of severe dwarfism that left the boy with very short arms. His people were nomadic and they lived by hunting and gathering. He didn't need nursing care, but the group would have had to accept that he couldn't run at the same pace or participate in hunting the same way others did. Oh, he was a Neanderthal. Of course, the OG Angleologist. Why would you say that? Kid with spina bifida must have been at least 6 feet. No other way. Yeah, he probably have been also white and with a big dick. That's the only way he would be cared for by society. And neurotypical. What does Spina Bifido look like, by the way? Time to Pleistocene Max. They say autism came from Neanderthals. Why not? I mean, they used to say, I mean, at least that's what they told me in school. I think that was in my history, biology book, that Neanderthals died, but apparently we actually have ended up mating with them, which I think is cool. The filter wants to censor the word autism for some reason. Chad Grogmaxer versus autism cell. Imagine if the Neanderthals were still around, bro. That interspecies and cell war would be crazy. We are partially Neanderthals. If I remember, yes, modern humans have some Neanderthals DNA. Yeah. The way Neanderthals lived and perceived the world was quite different from Homo sapiens and was more in line with how autists see the world. That is a claim that is quite big. I cannot verify it. I mean, I can look at it, I just think it's not best time for now. Maybe they held this boy for this, with this little thingy, they just carried him like a bag. One second. It is time to initiate Did she die? For the sake of art, to save this song. God, the flies, they came to my apartment. She started singing opera, she glitched. This does happen. You never know. This bitch is trying to help me lead stream. I don't need assistance. So, treatment, surgery, oh no. Signs and symptoms. Psychological problems. Leg weakness, bladder and bowel control. Pressure source, abnormal eye movements. Allergy to latex. Here I'm sure they were fine, but I think people with allergy to latex might also have allergy to bananas. Not sure. Neurological problems. The back portion of the brain is displaced from the back of the skull into the upper neck. Oh my! In about 90% of people with this, hydrocephalus also occurs, causing an excess of the fluid to accumulate. Smaller individuals. Whoop. Further. So it's tough. Academic skills, interesting. So let's continue watching. What did we learn throughout this short bit of being off topic? So Rehab Room insists that all people have, all people want is to reproduce. Does the reality confirm this idea? Hi. Is it reasonable to say that all people need is mating and everything they do is for the sake of mating or to cope with not having mating? Note, I think, how Rehab Room perceives Zohran's achievements. Like, there is my take. I think he is a passionate person with moral principles that he is that he wants to achieve. He wants to make the world better, and he succeeds in it. His wife probably shares his values, and I bet values were very necessary for them to match. She's also an artist. For Rehab Room, what the wife should have seen in him is only his status and his access to a better status. What he believes in is just, a way to invest in social capital that would bring him mating. What a huge fly! Oh my god. Is this him spying on me? So, you do not engage with me. I ask questions to receive answers. Why are you so mean to me? Where is it? Why are you so mean to me? Everyone's so mean to me. Oh my god. If only Jester had respected Terarty and found a maid who could swap the flight for you. I'm completely distracted, sorry. I mean, there are these sticky bands that you there's a teenager fly. I think teenage fly is somewhat fine because I don't feel them that much, I don't hear them that much, despite them being annoying about my screen. Even random people outside our window, I'm amazed by that cat. Whose cat? The flies? Anyway. Oh right, there's a cat. Oops. You have not seen this. Oh, you probably haven't. Wait a second. This is such a lucky... Yeah, I know Gat. I try to understand who's Gat. Such a lucky placement of the QR code. Anyway. Let's get back to the video.
For sex. Sex is about power. I always thought it was the other way around.
He called Oscar Wilde the oofy doofy. How does this make you feel anything? You know, calling Oscar Wilde oofy doofy? Wasn't Oscar Wilde gay? Yeah. But this is ridiculous.
At first glance, everything in the world looks like a power struggle, an intramural competition for power, or, money, status, success.
Intramural competition for power, money, status. That's what he said, right? Intramural. Yes.
Everything in the world looks like a power struggle, an intramural competition for power, or, money, status, success.
Everything in the world is about what men do.
Success, wars that are being waged all around the world. But behind all that, if you look a little bit behind that, there's sex, access to women. The correct line should have been everything in the world is about power, but power is about sex. So it was literally...
So, do you see his worldview? What he talks about is that the world's history is how men act. And the way men act is for them to get access to women, like they are a resource, passive. They are a reward. You get enough power, you come to the shop, you buy the woman you want with power you have. I mean, do you ever wonder how much sex did Putin get by invading Ukraine? How much sex do you think did Trump get that he, I assume, couldn't get before, or could have lost if he did kidnap the Venezuela leader Maduro, or if he didn't attack Iran? Does this really hold? Do people want power to get sex? Do men get power to have sex? He probably has no problem getting laid. Men of their position in power can get it on demand. Yeah, kinda. Putin had an affair with a gymnast. This was kind of an open secret. I think that was like 5-10 years ago.
College liberal vital that put him on his villain arc, on the path.
Zohran Mamdani there fighting for the rights of the civilians instead of corporations is the villain arc that white women put him on. I mean, it's interesting how men are the one acting and making decisions, yet he gets to blame these decisions on women giving access or not giving access. Like, in his worldview, women do nothing else except for giving or not giving access to sex, to partnership. Did you notice? Like, it's all throughout this video. It's just regarding Mamdani's wife as an artist, as someone who holds certain political views, certain ideas. It's through seeing the world as something, the history as the result of actions of men. Women did not act in his words. There's no action, no change. Women are a resource. What's his wife's name? Last name Jester. I am not good with names. Rama. Her name is Rama. I did not spell Mamdani until recently, and I'm still struggling to say Mamdani instead of Mamdani, because that's what I thought. I might have a very light case of dyslexia. Not good with names, sure. Just a little. Wait a second. Fix it. So let's keep moving.
Mamdani more with their rejections.
Mamdani.
All those, college liberal women who glazed him now didn't give him the time of the day back then.
I mean, and Rehab room, of course, know it because he lived in Mamdani's pants, and he watched his dick through a microscope.
It's funny enough, if a white girl, like in that Twitter post, viral Twitter post, Bailey,
Do not vote for Zohran Mamdani. Too bad I did today. What?
or something, if a girl like Bailey would have dated him, he wouldn't ended up as mayor today. It should
Don't forget, Rehab knows everything about Mamdani's personal life because of the vision he gets in his sleep when he's dreaming about Mamdani.
like Bailey would have stopped all this. I truly believe that. He was gonna, go to the parties, travel around the world with her. Despite all the other stuff he was facing, all the other stuff like people laughing at him, he was still gonna, not have the edge, the fire in him to be.
He dismisses ideas, views to something that can be influenced by access to women. Like, if only he got pussy, he would not be a man of principles. He would not try to make the world better, try to make the lives of fellow citizens better. I just realized that all this time I was saying civilians instead of citizens. But yeah, you got it.
Yeah, man. Zohran, it is such a big motivator, such a big driving force. We can act like we are so sophisticated, so intellectual, highly evolved, but guess fucking what? We are still mammals. The way we are programmed doesn't change easily.
Your solution to capital issue
You look like a bowling ball.
How is the Groiper movement tolerant?
Well, look, first and foremost,
Tolerant of
you see, here's the thing about women.
I'm just saying, like, you could, like, look at, you're doing great. You're talking to a woman.
And you can really observe this when you.
Well, I didn't know how to respond to what you just said, so I will call you on it. So, because having sex is the only one unit of value I understand. Ironically, this is the only unit of value they understand. Well, that interaction was awful on both sides. Yeah, TikTok. What do you want? Why do they both look like preteens in the video? Hey, come on, they look like teens. Anyway, this picture, I hate this picture because the reason people tell to incels, well, you can't get laid, is exactly that, because they put it like Rehab room. He puts it on a pedestal. He says everything in the world is about it. And this is why it gets insulted. And now he being the one to only value sex and access to sex through women, tries to reverse it. This is
how people treat others. Just look at how
such a
people show
projection.
their true colors when they wanna one-up you, when they wanna have a gotcha moment. How they.
So when people wanna have a gotcha moment, they do not show their true colors. And that's the default way of annoying leftist interacting conservative in the US. Just call them an incel and they automatically win the argument in their head. Well, you see, sometimes you just don't want to have an argument. That doesn't mean you're wrong. That doesn't mean you're right. That means you don't want to have an argument. I've received many times people saying, like, oh, you're not leading the argument correctly, this is attack on personality or whatnot, when there was no argument. I wasn't trying to lead an argument because I disregarded you from the very beginning. That's why I use attack on character, because I disregard you. I don't see interaction with you as beneficial to me. or possible to make a change. There's time and place for an argument, for discussion that may or may not be beneficial. I think if you even search on my Reddit profile discussion or argument, you will find me saying this at least twice.
Immediately resort to attacking people's looks, especially men's looks. It's just something.
Especially men's looks is funny. I don't know, I don't really like when leftists insinuate a man's worth is tied to how much sex they have, whether they want to have an argument or not. I mean, I don't like the concept of Karen, of how misogynistic it is. I don't like the big dick being a compliment and small dick being an insult. Like, there is so much thanks, then they go on insulters and say there is nothing with being a virgin. Think about this. You know how there are people who are white supremacists, yet they are not white. You probably have seen some or heard about some, right? If a person, if a leftist insults them and says, you talk about white supremacy, yet you're not even white, describing herself. God damn. Okay. So that's, the case. I've seen Indian incels. The Automod got triggered by Indian incels and said, I didn't look at the warning, but that's fine. The general white savior, you're browner than I expected, yes. The ironically lovely Austrian painter. Yes. Nick Fuentes is the prime example of this behavior. Yes, that's right. So when you say to those people, but why do you believe that? You are not white. You build a system of views, yet you are a loser in it. That's the point. I don't think people who have never had sex are losers. I actually believe we as a culture should place less emphasis on love, romantic love specifically, on relationships, on sex. I think it's really, I don't know, for me it really weirds me out when people get into so-called relationships at 10 years old, at 11, or I've seen at 13, 15, like 16, okay. 16 years old people having sex, not, I don't think that's good. I don't think if they weren't impacted so much by the value our cultures place on sex and love, they would be doing this. I think we should treat heterosexual relationships the way we treat homosexual relationships. Maybe don't bring too much of it in front of children. Like, and I'm not saying like children shouldn't know there are relationship of either kind of sexuality, but you know, people fight against homosexual propaganda, but they don't care about straight, basically brainwashing. It's not even propaganda at that point. Like, if people live their lives, almost all of their lives, thinking they are straight, only to find out they are not at 30, 40, 50, it's brainwashing. That's a hot take. I knew a guy in a cell server I was on who was half Mexican, half Filipino, who was a groyper and hated Jews and said he hated his race. He was also attracted to femboys and trans girls and admitted to femboys and trans girls, and admitted that he felt bad about his sexuality. How old was he? I hope he grew out of it. I think if he managed the hatred, the self-hatred he had, he would be a better, happier person and not a hateful one. I don't know, if I was dating and having sex at 16, I wouldn't be struggling. Why do you think you wouldn't be? It wouldn't change your personality. You would just have a check mark. You would still be yourself. I mean, people who have had similar lives, similar to yours, but still have had sex at 16, they still struggle. They don't live happy lives because sex does not solve problems. I'm sorry. I think I would be more social and adjusted, would be accepted by people, and I would have been more motivated in life. You would not be more motivated in life, probably. It would be a different degree of how much of an outcast you were. I probably would have been married and have kids by then. You see, you're maladjusted not because you haven't had sex. You haven't had sex because you're you were maladjusted. It's the opposite. Mr. Fuentes has a famous clip with the true answer to the incel problem. I know he said something like he would be an incel. I think he also said he has an interest in femboys. Such a peculiar character. I always thought it would just solve specific alienation about the topic. I think there's, shame in admitting you are a virgin. Sure, I have experienced that too. Like, you think you should have done it, yet you haven't. My I guess leg up I had is that I am not friends with social norms. I have never been very, conforming even as a child. So I have not been affected to the rate you have been. But again, as I was talking, you were not maladjusted because you haven't had sex. You haven't had sex because you were maladjusted. Sex does not resolve the problem, does not resolve lack of communication skills. Like, what we have found with you is that you struggle in allowing people to connect with you and connecting with people yourself. You also have a tendency to shut down when people kind of try to reach deeper inside you. Like, even here, while we're talking about the problem of self-hatred, you say, like, I don't know, I wouldn't be struggling, especially like if it starts with I don't know, it's usually you kind of shutting away the conversation. That's at least how I perceive it. But people would at least have acknowledged my existence and have accepted me as a fellow human being. I have qualms with you and with incels in general saying they are not acknowledged as human beings or that they are not seen. Because from what I see, neutral interactions, human to human, negative interactions, human to human, they do not see as acknowledging them as fellow humans. What they want to see is very openly positive interactions that are very specific to them. So, for example, I obviously acknowledge your existence, right? Or maybe, a cashier smiles at you in a store. Cannot be acknowledged without government pointed girlfriend, yeah. When a cashier smiles at you, they acknowledge your existence. They accept you as a human. That's why they act according to norms that are human to human. If you drop something and a person helps you pick it up, you are treated as a human, as a fellow human, and positively too. And sometimes when you say the wrong thing and people start arguing with you and dislike you for it, you are still being treated as a human. Negative reaction does not mean you're being treated not as a human. There's a certain level of social acceptance you get from relationship. Yes, maybe it's just for men. No. The one relationship bad I was in, oh no, I did feel like people viewed me as more normal than when I've been alone. Yeah, I mean, my problem, they are paid to do so and just do it out of routine. The person who helps you pick something up is doing it out of conditioned kindness. Conditioned kindness is human to human. Like, when a homeless people drop something, people are not likely to help them because they are quite dehumanized in the eyes of society. if someone would help a homeless person pick something up, for them that would be acknowledged as a person. They do not have the luxury you have to be a participant in a human to human connection. Yes, they are paid, so they have to, but they won't always do it, by the way. Sometimes I don't get smiled at by cashiers and I kind of get upset. It's quite cruel, and you're right, the homeless are treated as though they are actually invisible. Yes, I was once in a shop, in a grocery store. A homeless person came in. It was winter, and he smelled bad, right? But they let him in, and they let him stay there, and they even gave him water. I also remember that once I was riding a bus to the airport. What's it in English? I forgot. Airport, where the planes land. Anyway, so there weren't many people. A homeless person laid there on the seats and fell asleep. I had a little chocolate piece, bar, and I think water. So I placed the chocolate and water near to him. Then after some time I go out, he's still sleeping. No water is still there, no chocolate bar. Someone stole a chocolate bar from a sleeping homeless person. That is special. So regarding people being kind to homeless people in Russia, wasn't being homeless and poor illegal back in the day and a sign of social degeneracy? You're confusing it with the Soviet Union. Yes, sometimes people are kind to homeless people. If you want to check how kind a person is, maybe look at how they treat homeless people. Although seriously, watch Wasi in the Hey videos, so I know it's possible. Okay. So regarding what Sunny said about the level of acceptance from a relationship, maybe I should call you Falu, because Fallout 77 2 axis. I should think of a different nickname probably. Anyway. Do not mind me. So what I was talking about is that, because people are expected to be in relationships, there is a level of the approval and acceptance that relationships give you. There's no arguing. I think sometimes the problem when we view it through this lens, like in relationship, okay, like some people have it easier, some people have it harder. It's like the expectance that for it to be fair, everyone needs to have it easier. Like the easiest, simplest, most reductive understanding of communism. Everyone should have equal access to, say, resources. Here we're talking about women as resources. But instead, I think, like, we cannot make everyone identical. I think we need to understand that some people will struggle in some fields more, in some fields less. Some people run faster because they are just physically more stronger, and some people run slower or can't run at all. It's just that it shouldn't have such a huge effect on their life that they can't, like, really live anymore. This is the means of reproduction. Beautiful. Okay, let's get going. We should finish the video.
The first thing to be attacked is gonna be his assembly and looks. They are not gonna...
Okay, I remind you what we stopped on is that people get attacked for what you think they will view as the most important, because when people attack you, it's not their goal to be honest. Their goal is to hurt you. So they will attack you for things they don't even think are important. The point is to hurt you. They need to get into your view. But also he was talking like men get attacked for their appearance, their looks. The people who get attacked for their appearance and their looks the most are women. It has always been women. The way, as a feminist, I can tell you that the way men try to shut down women, it's always, you're ugly, no one wants you. Like, everything else is a step above, but the basis, like, even if a person rejects you, or like if you as a woman reject a man and he gets angry, he will say, you're ugly, no one wants you. If you say you're a feminist, it's because you're ugly and no one wants you. Or fat, we can also add fat to the mix. People hate fat people. Like, everything is there. I mean, in terms of sex, as a woman, you have opportunities to be attacked and called both a slut and a virgin who no one wants. The world is your oyster.
Who you are, what your ideas are. The first thing they are gonna go for is always...
But this is mocking what your ideas are and who you are, because this is mocking your system of values, taking your optics.
Is, true for both men and women. Men also do this. No matter how much people try to play it off as sophisticated and evolved, they are gonna show their true colors in a moment of heat. Remember,
you are not your true self in a moment of heat. You say things you regret, you say things you don't agree with, you say things just to hurt people. The moment of hate is not the true representation of yourself. When you are able to truly think about your actions, about what you say, is who you are. When you're consider and make decisions. Because bro is deeply imagining the moments of multiple partners of all genders. I don't know what. I mean, he definitely doesn't like women. Like, there's so much resentment. I don't think he's capable of being attracted to women at this point in his life. Women never come up in his videos as people who can make decisions, have values, have different preferences. No, it's like an equation that can be solved, like an algorithm. That's why people talk about put in nice guy coins, get sex. This is how he's looking at it.
Of their minds. If you are a short man or a sub-5 man, you being a doctor, being an investment banker, making big money and stuff, they won't make people as jealous as you simply dating a certain type of girl. A girl they would also like to date. That is
Your thoughts? He just said you making money basically have personal success will not make people as jealous as you dating a girl they'd like to date. Do you see how women are not actors in his view? Like, I didn't really notice it that much before, even though we watched a few of his videos. But this is like most noticeable.
simply dating a certain
People are men.
of girl. A girl they would also like to date. That is simply human.
Girl, women are an achievement, a prize,
Nature.
not people who can decide. Human nature, you know, human nature is wanting to get a girl. Women do not have human nature. Like, obviously his view is heteronormative.
Y'all playing by unironic.
All people are men, women purely fictional. You're playing, but I unironically.
Technically have a crush on all. This proves everyone's attractive to someone. You just have to find your person. Now you're right. This proves attractiveness is subjective and everyone has their own interest.
When you look at people's past, analyze, pay attention to the
Do you see how he views the women here as an algorithm? You have certain traits, they will result in attraction from women. I can't say from other people, in attraction from girls. Girls cannot have their own mind, they cannot have decisions, preferences, ideas, they cannot have personal circumstances. They can only be an algorithm.
details and not look at what they have to say. If you can read between the lines, you are gonna notice this. You are gonna notice that a lot of men's origin story are pretty identical.
If you're gonna read between the lines, is like reading one of 10 lines and then making up a whole fan fiction. Like, of course, every man and every woman will have a story of them being rejected by their romantical interest. Woohoo! I guess we found the law of the universe. I mean, I guess that means we all are led by our desire for a mate.
Whether it is Mamdani, whether it is Hamzan or Dr. K, like, you pay attention to people's past and you are gonna realize this.
Welcome to Love Maxing with Dr.
There's this thing called magical thinking. When you think correlation is causation. Like you see patterns when there are none.
Okay.
You got Dr. K. Out of his frustrations, the guy literally tried to be a monk. He was like, I am already living like a monk. Might as well just go to India and actually become one.
I actually thought about becoming a nun. Why do you think was that? Like, try to guess. A lot of you, some of you know me as a person enough. I have told about my private life. Why would I want to become a nun? Whenever I ask questions, you don't want to answer. I guess I should wait a little since there's a delay. I think someone is trying to kill. Your car wasn't it to cope with your sexuality? No, I realized I was bisexual at 12. I had no problem accepting it. I kind of like thought about one thought I just had, and I like, oh wait, I think I'm bisexual. I think I like girls too. And I had no moral value placed specifically on attraction to women. Biphobia hit me hard, but specifically homophobia did not. Anyway, the reason I wanted to become a nun is because, as an extremely depressed person, I did not know what I would do after graduating from school, and all I wanted to do, like, to make no decisions, to maybe do very little, though in monasteries people actually work quite a lot, I think. But yeah, I just wanted to be saved from choice, from capitalism, from myself. I've never believed in God. And I think if you are a rehab room and view me and you think I'm a man, which would be the only way a person would be able to make decisions by being a man, then you maybe would have thought that the reason is that my crush wasn't returning my feelings, and I was like, oh no, I would always be alone. But no, just severe depression. So you're not a fanboy who want to sit. Who told you? Who knows?
Otherwise I'm gonna go crazy. Even the monks didn't want him. They sent him back to the US to become a doctor. Another example.
Even the monks didn't want him is a funny thing to say, because, you know, it does nothing no connection with his point. He never can connect two thoughts in a sensible way. This is amazing. So he couldn't get laid, according to a rehab room's view. Dr. K couldn't get laid. He thought I live like a monk, so I'll become a monk. He goes to become a monk, and the phrasing here, even the monks didn't accept him. So like they didn't accept him because he didn't have enough body count, because a woman didn't want him enough, or did monks wanting him have some relation to him not being attractive to women? How does that work?
That certain type of girl. It literally, identifies Hamza. And now he's in Bali. He set up his school page, making 100k a month, and then moved to Bali. And surprise, surprise,
Hamza, isn't this an ex-incel?
his new chick is also a certain type. I mean, at least it is not below average looking this time. Finally. For once, it is not some below average looking.
I'm not sure whether she asked Hamza to blur his face, or was it Hamza who was embarrassed having seen her. I'm inclined to believe the latter, though. He always comes to insult a woman's looks. Isn't that interesting? Hamza is a red pill grifter. Oh, sorry. So, I'm Adonis. The fun part, is that the normal thing is to blur faces of people for privacy reasons. I would blur faces of strangers if they were in my photos. That's logical. That's what people do. That's the etiquette of posting people online. And for him, it's either she asked or Hamza was embarrassed by her looks. So, like, he would not have made the decision to bro just blurs every woman, you feminism. Maybe, who knows? Having seen her, I'm inclined to believe the latter, though. So, Rehab Room is supposedly an incel. He insults the looks of Zohran Mamdani's wife Rama and Hamza's ex-girlfriend. Let's imagine a scenario. Let's create a fantasy when one of these women, let's say the red hair girl, I just like red hair, she comes to him and like, Rehab, please, let's date. How would he react? Like, if he experienced being attractive, really attractive, to one of the women he talked about this way. Just a fantasy. Let's say he believes the attraction is real. What then? Why are you so mean to me? Someone left. Okay. Anyway. How much is the delay? Seems quite big. How would Ra react if the same girl said she would date him? Yes. Like, not just she would. What if she said, I want to date you? Let's date. Would he accept? Question one. And the second question. How would he treat her afterwards, considering he finds her unattractive? People will come, see Freddy Fazbear's Us, and leave. I think he would go for it. Okay. And then how would he treat this girl? How would he feel about her? I don't know because I'm not him. Rami, we should practice trying to put yourself in people's places. He obviously despises her. He would become abusive. He would manipulate her and constantly dismiss her, insult her. That's how these people act when they think they are dating someone who's not good enough. And some doubts would creep in that she does not like him, so either he would sabotage the relationship or hurt her. I think he would just feel that he is on top of the world for finally dating someone. No, guys. He despises women. I mean, think about it. If an incel is like, if this person who is an incel views themselves as someone who is unable to get a partner, and they finally get a partner, they realize they can get someone, and the one they have is not the one they're happy with. Do you think they're gonna be all loving? I mean, I would say there, instead of hypergamy, should we talk about hyperandrony? Because, you know, they say they would go for any woman if they had a chance to have at least someone. What if they had a chance to get more women and then more and more? The problem is that they don't have access. If they would search for better. In the beginning, I'd assume positive feelings would outweigh negative, but resentment eventually rears its hand. It might be somewhere in the middle, could be just a cold, emotionally distant relationship with a prenup, an agreement on exchange of intimacy. It be for mutual business reasons. But eventually, I'm not sure how much Rehab makes, but eventually, yeah, Rehab might lose interest in her after enough time. Maybe he would engage with her intellectually, but probably not. Solo, you commit the same mistake. How would a woman in this place feel? Would she agree to exchange of intimacy? Oh. You missed the fact that women are people too here. Okay, let's continue. We're almost finished.
I mean, Bali itself is basically one giant magnet for those type of girls, former bottle service girls. Certain parts
Battle service girls? What?
of the island is full of them, full of Eastern European looking girls looking for a lifestyle provider. Dubai is one hub and Bali is another. Some of those chicks rebrand as real estate agents. Some of them claim to be lifestyle bloggers and stuff. But a lot of them are just glorified bottle service girls.
Now, in my high school chemistry class here in California, there was this...
Wait a second. Maybe it's slang? Bottle service girls. Why does DuckDuckGo show pornography? What the fuck? I will have to change my primary search engine. Wild. Okay, Google. And everyone glazes DuckDuckGo so much. Oh, so just cocktail waitresses. To be honest, I thought maybe he meant other kind of services, because I think that would be in line for him. To ensure send my messages. Which is mean. Oh, finally, I can see some. Well, a woman who knowingly pursued Rehab room after being familiar with his content might already be arriving with emotional boundaries. It really depends on how Rehab is willing to open up and treat her as an intellectual equal. You know, he's not gonna treat a woman as an intellectual equal. Despite being far from an intellectual himself. It's sad.
Absolute Chad brown guy. It sounds super autistic to say, but I never even met, had the thought of a brown guy who was good looking and attractive to girls, successful. Those things just didn't go well together.
Good looking and attracted to girls. Usually brown guys that are attractive are not into women, I suppose.
This one guy in my class, Archie, every time he'd walk in, he would be jacked, dressed well, all the girls were saying hi to him. I'd see him on their Snapchat stories. He had this hot white girlfriend.
A lot of men go through the same process as Mamdani. It is the same thing that reshaped them. It was the dating frustrations. that set them on the path and ended up defining.
I remind you that this is his fantasy based on 2 sentences.
Well, the correct say should have been everything in the world is about power, except power itself. That is about sex. Don't be a free agent in life.
This dude will have his head blown if he learned about prison rape or rape torture. So, we have successfully finished through trials, many trials, and many off-topic discussions. 16 minutes in 3 hours. It's like in Russia, there's a saying from the Soviet Union: пятилетку за 3 года, 5-year plan in 3 years, but for me it's the opposite. 3-year plan in 10 years. I think he knows about the world. He knows about what would consider the irrelevant to the discussion. Redeemed highlight my message. Huh? I mean, why would it not? Why would he not consider it as relevant? He talks about everything is about sex and that's it. Everything is about mating. So prison rape must also be about mating. Somehow it gets you power, and it's true that rape in prison is a tool to establish power. I remember writing this comment on Debate Sub when I talked about it and got over the limit. Anyway, did your view of Rehab change through this? Did you learn anything new? Did you see any Zohran pictures you'd like to save? I think that RR got a little too personal in this video. A little? He wrote a fanfiction. This was 15 minutes of Rehab room writing a fanfiction about Mamdani with generated comics about him being rejected, with a bunch of pictures of Mamdani. Like, there's something. I mean, of course, maybe he sees himself, we could say, but he also says Mamdani is attractive. I don't think Rehab sees himself as attractive. So my spidey senses are tingling. I don't drop or he's gay out of nowhere, but it does not feel very straight of him. I don't either. I'm not sure at what point did you said it. So we just got a bad fanfiction. Should I leave a comment on Rehab's video to get his insults to myself? Imagine if I started commenting on every video. But like, this one is especially stupid. We've seen a lot of stupidity, but this one is big. Remind me to introduce you to... I will not remember it. I'll just leave a comment. I'll DM it to you so you will remember it. Do not put the task of memory on me. I am not good at memory. Okay? With this, we shall finish. Tomorrow, join me in playing No, I Am Not Human. Same time, same place. Good night.